Hi boys and girls, welcome back. This week we are going to talk about camping. Last week was beach and this week is camping. So today we are going to read Curious George Goes Camping by Margaret and H.A. Reyes. Has anybody went camping before? Yeah, it's so much fun. I love camping. This is George. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. This weekend, George and his friend, the man with the yellow hat, had special plans. They were going camping. So they're getting ready. So they have their tent, their sleeping bags, and their cooler for food. At the campsite, the man with the yellow hat unpacked their gear while George looked at all the tents. He saw tents for big families and one just the right size for a puppy. There were even tents on wheels. Would you like to help me put up our tent, George? The man asked. So there's different sized tents. Tent on wheels, tent for just a puppy, and big tents, small tents. George was happy to help. It would not be hard to set up a tent, he thought, but it wasn't easy. George, why don't you fill our bucket up with water at the pump? He suggested. Well, we'll need it by our campfire later when we roast marshmallows. Marshmallows. George loved marshmallows. He couldn't wait to try them roasted. Now don't wander off and get into trouble, the man warned. But George did not hear him. He was already gone. Uh-oh. At the pump, George worked the handle up and down. As soon as the bucket was full, on the way back down the trail, he saw a family packing up. George watched a girl pour her bucket of water on the campfire. The fire sizzled out. George thought that looked like fun. So he poured his bucket of water on the next campfire. Uh-oh. Hey, yelled a camper. We weren't finished with that yet. The camper began to chase George, but George didn't mean to cause any trouble. Now he only wanted to hide. He ran into the forest as fast as he could, but the camper's footsteps followed close behind. George ran faster and faster. The footsteps came closer and closer until suddenly, so he's running into the woods. They were passing George. Why? It wasn't not the camper chasing George. Now it was a deer. What fun to run with a deer. Forgetting all about the camper and the marshmallows, George ran after the deer. But a little monkey cannot run as fast as a deer in the woods. Before long, George was lost and all alone. Oh no. He felt tired and stopped to rest. At first he was worried. He was very far from camp. But there were lots. How does he make it feel? He's lost. He's not happy. He's sad. Oh no. There are lots of other animals to keep him company. He saw a lizard sunning on a rock and a squirrel chattering in a tree. Then he saw the tail of a black and white kitty peeking out from under a bush. He was curious. Would the kitty like to play? George gently pulled the kitty out. Uh-oh. Do you know what animal has a black and white tail and that lives in the woods? It's not a kitty. It's a skunk. And when you scare a skunk, or when they feel scared, they lift their tail out and they spray this smelly spray. It stinks. There's lots of different animals. There's deer, lizards, fish, rabbits, squirrels. But it was not a kitty. It was a skunk. And it was scared. The skunk lifted its tail and sprayed. Phew! The spray smelled so bad. The animals tried to get away. George wanted to get away too, but he could not. The smell was all over him. How would he ever get rid of this awful smell? He wondered. Too bad he could not take a bath in the woods. All the animals are running away. He smells so bad. Then George had an idea. He could wash the smell off in the creek. George jumped into the cold water. He splashed and scrubbed. But he was still so smelly. And now he was wet too. But what could he do? George thought and thought. If he climbed up in a tree to dry off, would the smell blow away? Let's see. No. He was still so smelly. Even dry and high up in a tree, George did not smell any better. Poor George. He wished he hadn't wandered so far away from camp. He wished he were roasting marshmallows with his friend, and suddenly George heard footsteps heading towards him. Someone was coming. It was the forest animals, but they ran right by him. They seen something very scary, and George saw it too. It was a fire. Uh-oh. George had gotten into trouble for putting out one fire, but this fire wasn't on the campground. This was an emergency. Quickly, George climbed down the tree and grabbed his bucket. He scooped it full of water in the creek. Then, being careful not to spill, he climbed back and swung from branch to branch through the trees. What is he going to do with the water? Let's see. Is he going to put it out? When George got close to the fire, he reached down and poured water on the flames. Out went the fire with a big hiss. Then George's friend rushed out of the forest with a ranger. "George," he called, "I was afraid you would be here." "It's a good thing you were here, George," said the ranger. "We saw smoke from the campground, but you put this fire out just in time." George was glad to help, and the man with the yellow hat was glad to see that George was safe, but he had a funny look on his face. "George," he asked, "what is that smell?" Back at the campsite, George's friend helped him get rid of this awful smell. After a strange bath in tomato juice, George smelled just fine. Then the man with the yellow hat invited the ranger to cook dinner with them over their own small campfire. "Fires can be nice if you're careful," said the ranger. George agreed, especially for roasting marshmallows. Yummy. I love roasting marshmallows. Now we are going to do a fun worksheet. So this worksheet you can find in your week 2 folder. And attached should be some numbers. So you need a glue stick. Okay, so these are things that you can find while camping, or you have to bring them camping. So the first one is a lantern, and a lantern is a light that you can see. You can put it on when you're camping and it's dark out. So let's see how many lanterns there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 lanterns. So find your number 5 and you're going to glue it on. Oop. Okay. So here are your number 5. And you're going to glue it right on. Good job. Okay. What is this? A tent. How many tents are there? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 tents. Find your number 4. Okay. And you're going to glue it. Good job. All right. What is this? A campfire. Good job. There's a lot of campfires. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a lot. 8 campfires. Find your number 8. Here's my number 8. Okay. Ooh. And these are flashlights. This is another light that you can bring camping. So if you don't have a lantern, you can bring a flashlight. How many flashlights are there? 1, 2, 3. Good counting, friends. Okay. Oop. Number 3. Awesome work. And this is a cooler. And you can pack food and drinks in it. How many coolers are there? 1, 2. Good job. Find number 2. Here's 2. And chairs. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 chairs. Find number 6. Awesome work. We completed the worksheet. Great work, guys. All right, I hope you guys had fun doing the worksheet and reading the book with me. Bye.